Algeria, Algeria, Algeria. And for those who are wondering, no, I am not mispronouncing Nigeria. Algeria is a country in North Africa, said to be the largest country in Africa, if we're going by landmass. This is a place I would call an off the beaten path destination. I would say most tourists don't really have this place on their bucket list when it comes to traveling, especially traveling around North Africa. They may hit up Morocco, then fly over Algeria to get to Egypt, because those are two popular countries in this region. But for me, when I was in Morocco, a lot of people were telling me, hey, make sure to visit Algeria. You'll love it. I tried. When I was in Ethiopia, I went to the Algerian embassy to see if I can get a visa. However, they said, nope, you have to apply in your home country. So to all the Algerians watching, I actually tried to come sooner, but couldn't. I'm here now, and I'm glad I came. In this video, we're going to talk about the capital, Algiers, because there's some things I want to point out, especially for those who are maybe planning on visiting soon. You're most likely flying into the capital. You may spend a couple of days here, and you want some current intel from someone who's just visited, so you kind of have an understanding of the situation there. Well, this video is for you. And for those who are just curious about learning about new places and stuff like that, here you go. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some of the things that I noticed while I was in the capital. Let me start off by saying that shout out to the Manila, Philippines. From all the capital cities I've been to at that time, for me, that city had some of the most hospitable, welcoming, and warm people that I've met. However, there's a new top dog, and that is Algiers, Algeria. A lot of times when I make videos, people like to exaggerate the positives of their country and over embellish. And I don't say much, but I think to myself, oh, nah, that's not true. I'm not going to say anything. I'm glad you're proud of your country, but no, I don't agree with that. However, when it comes to Algeria, when you read the comments and you see certain statements like the people are super friendly, they're hospitable, they're warm, 100% true. One thing you're going to hear a lot, or the one thing I heard a lot while I was here, is welcome to Algeria. To all the Algerians watching, I don't know if they teach you that in school, but I heard that everywhere. Even people who didn't really speak English that well, they knew that phrase. There have been many times when people would help me and wouldn't ask for a thing. And this, for me, has been a little surprising because there are some, I won't name the countries, but there are places that I've been to where people would help me out and they would ask for money afterwards. And especially with Algeria being in North Africa, this region has a reputation, because of some countries I won't name, but it has a reputation of being filled with a lot of scammers and hustlers and people just trying to extract money out of you, out of tourists. But when it came to Algeria, I didn't experience that. No matter who I stopped on the street, they would try to help me to the best of their ability, like walking me 4 or 5 blocks out of the way or taking me directly to the exact bus I needed to get on. And at the end of it all, they just said, hey, welcome to Algeria, or they just gave me a wave and they left. Not once did someone help me and then at the end had their hand out. Like, hey, can I get a couple of dollars for, stopping what I was doing just to help you? Another thing I heard is that because Algeria hasn't experienced mass tourism yet, that's the reason why there aren't many hustlers and scammers out just to get foreigners. Not saying it doesn't exist, especially if you're in super tourist areas, but just in general. The whole try to get over on the foreigner culture is not prevalent in Algeria. Also something that I experienced, and I also saw some people commenting this in the comment section of my videos, which is true. I haven't been experiencing a lot of overcharging. People quoting me double the price because I'm a foreign tourist. One of the reasons why I know this is because before I bought something, I would ask a local the price of it first. And usually whatever price they quoted me lined up exactly with what the seller charged me. So for example, I use shared taxis a lot, which is exactly what it sounds like, a taxi that you're sharing with other people. You purchase a seat. And so before getting in the taxi, I would ask people, hey, how much does it cost to get to this destination? And they would tell me, hey, it costs $1,000. I'll go to the taxi driver, just use Google Translate and just tell them, hey, I want to buy one seat. I'll show them my calculator, and usually, actually most times, the price lined up with what the other local had told me. I had situations where I forgot my change or I paid a little too much, and people would let me know like, hey, you're walking away, but you forgot your extra change. Here it is. So again, overall, the people here seem very honest. And staying with this overcharging point, many times I've been undercharged where people have given me discounts, especially in restaurants, where I would order a meal and then the owner or the manager would end up bringing extra food like, hey, try this for no additional cost. I had a situation where I ordered 2 sandwiches and I was only charged for one. I tried to tell the person, hey, I ordered 2 of them. And they just gave me the look like, don't worry about it. So I've actually been undercharged a number of times. Next up is about the safety here. And I'm going to give you 2 perspectives. The first one is my own. I felt safe. I felt comfortable walking around daytime, nighttime. However, how you feel in a particular place can vary person to person. For example, if you're a woman, you might feel differently in an area compared to a man. Or if you're 5'5", 160 pounds, you may feel differently in a place compared to someone who's 6'4", 240 and built like a linebacker. So there's that. Now, the second perspective is what I noticed. And this is how I like to gauge, safety in a place, apart from the statistics, but just how are people living and commuting and walking around? Do they look fearful? Do they look anxious? Do they say, hey, once the sun goes down, get inside, etc., etc.? I didn't really notice that here. When I was on the metro or in busy areas, I don't see anyone wearing their backpack in front of them. Maybe it happens, but I just didn't notice it. At night, I've seen people of all demographics walking around, smiling, laughing. No one seemed like, oh my God, don't walk this way or don't walk that way. I felt pretty safe to me. Now, obviously, I'm not saying this is the safest place in the world and nothing can happen. Always keep your wits about you. Try to walk on main streets. Try to avoid dark, desolate, lonely places. Be mindful in busy areas because petty crime is a thing, I would say, in most places around the world, etc., etc. I don't want anyone to misinterpret what I'm trying to say. The point I'm trying to get at is I believe Algeria is a lot safer than what most people imagine, especially because of the region and other countries in this area that make the news and headlines for not the greatest reasons. Next up, when it comes to traveling, one of the important things that you need to focus on is what to pack. So if you're going to a place that's warmer, maybe bring lighter clothing, and vice versa. If you're going to a place that's colder, bring thicker and warmer clothing. Well, if you're coming to Algiers, Algeria, you need to bring hiking boots. Why, Sly? I don't plan to go to Algiers to hike. Doesn't matter. You're going to be hiking because the city is filled with these crazy hills, super steep inclines. This is something I was not told before coming. I found this out the first day when I got off the train from the airport and I had both of my bags, and my Airbnb was only about a 15-20 minute walk away, but it was all uphill. So yes, if you plan to come to Algiers, you're going to be hiking. When it comes to the currency here, one thing I want to touch on is how prices are quoted. Here, it's a little, at least in the beginning, it was a little confusing because when prices are quoted, they cut off the last zero. So for example, if something costs 500, they'll say 50. Or if the price of something is 1,000, they'll say 100. I remember one time I went into a market and bought some juice and some fruits. And I put on my calculator app so they can type the price. And the worker typed 49. So I gave them a 50 coin, which in dollars is the equivalent of maybe like 15 cents or something like that. So the worker looked at his hand and he looked at me and then he looked at someone else. He pretty much gave me the look like, bro, what is this? Like, where's the rest of it? But I showed him the number 49 he typed in the calculator. And then I pointed at the coin like, hey, that's 50. Like, this is 49, that's 50. We're good. It took me a minute to realize the price wasn't 49, it was 490. He didn't add the extra zero because that's just not what people do here. So that's a little cultural thing that was new to me. I want to say that was the first time I've experienced that out of all the countries I've been to. And last but not least, staying on this money currency point, we have the unofficial exchange rate. Now, if you've been to Cuba or Argentina, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's the official rate, and then there's the unofficial, the street, the black market rate, whatever term you want to use. When you arrive to Algiers, there's going to be people at the airport trying to exchange with you. When you get to the city center, there's going to be people trying to exchange. And it's very interesting to see because there'll be guys with fat stacks of cash just on the corner, and a lot of them waiting to exchange. You'll see people rolling up in vehicles making exchanges. It's like something out of a mafia gangster movie. It's a sight to see. This is also one of the reasons why not just Algiers, but Algeria as a whole is a cash society, a cash rule society. I've read online that my US cards won't work here. I don't know because I haven't tried and I don't plan on trying. But understand that when you come to Algiers and this country again in general, make sure you have enough cash, physical cash to cover your trip. But with all that being said, these are just some things I want to point out about Algiers, Algeria, the capital. I do plan to visit more places in the country. These were just perspectives and things I noticed while being in Algiers. I definitely enjoyed my time here, met some great people, especially, and that's what I want to talk about. I've met a lot of great people off camera. Like, for example, the first point when I said how the people are very warm and welcoming and friendly, a lot of that stuff happened off camera. And that's what I based my perspectives on. Because, you know, when people know you're filming, they may act differently. They may be on their best behavior. To me, what happens off camera is a better indicator of how, you know, people actually are. But anyways, be looking out for more videos from Algeria. The trip isn't done yet. I plan to hit up some of the major cities. Some of you guys probably already know which ones I'm going to. If you don't, it should be a surprise. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found some value in it. Hope you liked it. And I'm going to catch you guys at the next one. Deuces.